We have learned a lot. There's so much that you have shared with us. And yes, wow. Everybody, people are commenting. Awesome, awesome, awesome. And so much to share, so much you've shared with us. And I think what I like the most is that you gave us a lot of hope. Because initially I was like, this is a hard task. Oh. But we ended with, more or less like what just resonated with me is enjoy it. It's a journey. You grow with your children. Parenting is a spiritual journey. I like that a lot. So Dr. Madu, thank you very much. So without much ado, I think we will just spring into question and answer session. So let me go to the chat and yes, I hope you can read you can see the chats. People are responding to your presentation. Thank you so much for this awesome and enlightening presentation. Serious hope, a lot of illumination, enlightening. So that distinction also between authoritative approach of parenting and authoritarian approach, that was also fantastic, and the permissive approach. And I think at the end of the day, each one of us has to choose the one that works best for us and the one that will give us the results that we want. I also like that part where you said that whatever you will not tolerate from the adult, don't tolerate it from the child. So already start nurturing. See the adult in that child. That was awesome. Yes. All right. So let's take questions. So if you want, you can put your question on the chat or your comments. Maybe you want to share something with us. You could also raise your hand. I will call you so that you can be given permission to unmute your mic and say what you want to say. So I think it's time for us to share. There are quite a number of us that have experiences. So maybe there are some things you've already tried that are working and you want to share with others. Yes. Thank you very much. Okay. So let's see. Do I have any hand up?
Yes, there is.
Okay, yes. Chizoba, any? Chizoba Ijoma, please. You can go ahead.
Okay. Thank you so much, Professor Madu, for the presentation. Please, my question is, I've heard many people, older parents say, my children are not my friends. They can never be my friends until they get to a certain age. And I am also familiar with the admonition of St. Josemaria Escrivá that says we should raise our children in the atmosphere of friendliness. So when I hear this from older parents and I have this admonition in my head, I'm not able to balance the two extreme positions on parenting. Please, what do you have to say about it?
Okay. Do I speak at once or do I wait after?
I think, well, whichever way we prefer, maybe you just respond as the questions are coming.
Let me just make a comment. Your children are your friends, whether you like it or not. There are some that, of course, within the children, some parents have favorites. But another thing I must say is make sure your children don't know who is your favorite. Okay? As a human being, even in the office, there are people that you're closer to, you like them better than the other. But with your children, make sure that your daughter or that your son, that is the apple of your eye, that the other siblings do not know. Sometimes they may have an idea of maybe mommy loves this guy more than ever, but make sure that you treat everybody equally. As a matter of fact, sometimes turn he or she down, just teach the person a lesson that you think you're the favorite, but you're not. Okay? Then your kids are your friend. What do I mean? Make sure that again you balance the aspect of friendship and authoritarianism or authoritativeness. What do I mean? They are your friends, but as someone noted in the comment section, make sure there are boundaries. Okay? They are your friends because you can go to their room, lie down on their bed, and you gist. But when you get up, everybody gets up by 6 a.m., eats your food, and dress your bed. Okay? So I'm your friend, but when it comes to this, my brother, my sister, you have to behave yourself. Okay? So that's what I think.
All right. Thank you very
There are
much.
other parents here that can also offer their own.
Okay. So I saw initially, but I don't know if her hand is down now. Ejiro. Ejiro, are you there? She had put
There
up
is
her
Ife
hand. Okay. All right. Ifeyiwa, please go ahead. Thanks, Charles. Ifeyiwa. After Ifeyiwa, then Ogechi. Ifeyiwa, are you there?
Unmute yourself.
Can you hear me?
Oh, yes, we can hear you
Yes.
now.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening, our wonderful our wonderful facilitator. Thank you for the wonderful presentation. In fact, we learn every day. I've been able to learn a good number of things, which I never know, in my act of parenting. And if we look at what is happening today, we will also know that a good number of us parents have lost it. Maybe basically because we try to parent based on how we see it in our parents. And in your presentation, I overheard you say that you did a program in a university. You gave some instances of things that happened and how it should be dealt with. I want to know if more about this program you have with the tertiary institution, so that maybe we can buy into it. Because if you look at what is happening in the university today, or the kind of children that are raised and the behavior that they exhibit, you will know that a good number of us parents lost the track when we were doing it. And I believe that corrections can still be made now through such programs you run in the tertiary institution. So I would like to know more about that and see how we can engage you, help correct some of these mistakes that we parents made in the act of parenting. Thank you.
Okay. I think Ejiro is saying she can't unmute herself, but let me just say, well, the conference was I think it was the UNIV conference. We have it, I think, once a year or once every 2 years. So I think another one will come up next year or later this year. We usually have it with the university students alone, and a few people to come to talk to them. Don't ever at any point believe that you have lost your child. No. No matter how old, even if the child is in the university, you can always begin to make amends. Well, we may not get 100%, but at least we can begin to track back. I'll give you another story. A friend of mine, once I was driving back from Benin, so the friend asked me to branch. I think they suddenly dismissed told the students of the particular school where his daughter was. They actually suddenly asked them to go home. Okay, so he called me and asked me whether I could go help him pick his daughter. To cut the long story short, I got to the girls' hostel. I was in the waiting room. There was another man there, young man, much younger than I am, well touched up with about 3 phones, looking very well fed and well dressed. So while we were waiting, the student I came to pick came out. They are our close family friends. So the young girl ran and hugged me. Another girl walked out, being the other man's daughter. And the man now opened his arms, maybe trying to do what we just did. But the daughter was so cold, and I watched that man's face. And I realized that there was going to be a very big problem. Training children is not about providing school fees only. I always tell people, money is the least of your problems when you're training children. Your major challenge is time. Even if you're poor, make sure you have the time. You can teach the child your lesson in your house. Okay, let me give you another statistics. It has been noted that children that their parents look at their homework, their grades go up by 60%. Even if you don't know what you're looking at, just by the fact that the parents are interested in their grades and in their homework, their grades go up because the children try to struggle more for their parents. So I'll just drop it here. That's why I talked about bonding. If you haven't bonded with a girl, you come and you want her to hug you, she's not going to hug you because she's not been hugging you for a long time. And maybe probably hasn't seen you for the past 5 or 6 months, not even a call. So what are you expecting? So by the time that girl enters university, of course, you know, as far as she's concerned, you see people that sometimes you talk with them, they're always talking about their mother, their mother, their mother. They never mention about their father because their father hasn't been there. Simple. So there's nothing to talk about their father. Okay. You also see people that each time my father used to say, my father, these are people that their father was relevant in their life. So it's very easy to discern. Okay. But let me drop it there so others can speak. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Madu.
Please,
So,
I want to make a plea. Sorry.
Sorry, who is this? Okay.
It's still Ifeanyi, yes, based on this. You said such presentation was done in a conference that happens once in a while. Sorry, I happen to work in a university. And sometimes what I see every day is not palatable at all. Is there any way? See, the program you do is for parenting. You know, you do it for parents. Can you do such for the children, for the young adults, for the growing children? I mean, okay, let us even look at the tertiary institution. Is there any way you can bring this thing you're doing into universities? I believe it's going to correct a lot of things, you know, a lot of behavioral issues. Instead of waiting for once in a while, you know, such thing will be done. How do we correct some, you know, behaviors we see today? I still believe we can still do something. So if you do such program again, if you think in that line of running similar thing for children, that would be fine and will help us, achieve a lot in this journey. Thank you.
All right, thank you. There are programs for university students anyway, so maybe later you can ask around or you can contact me. Or you can also start the program and get resource persons to come and help you out.
Okay,
no problem.
Okay, yeah, that's another idea, because at least if we have different groups inviting people like Professor Madu, and he would also have contact with other people that can help, I think that would be awesome, so that we're not just leaving it to a particular institution. If it happens, that ripple effect in other institutions will just be fantastic, which is also why we're having this. We're all here on this platform, and a lot more can come out. Thank you very much. Ejiro, I think you can unmute yourself now.
Yes, because initially,
Excellent.
thank you very much. Initially, when you called me, they said the host wouldn't allow me to unmute.
Sorry about that. Sorry about that.
Yeah, it's okay. So I actually put my question on the chat room already, but since I've been given an opportunity to talk about it, I will just repeat. So in the course of the presentation, a very interesting presentation made by Dr. Madu. Thank you for that. He mentioned the mind your business part of it. Yeah. So for that mind your business, I'm a little bit skeptical about it, because for me, for my children, for example, I think it's a way of shunning them, and probably you might stop them from wanting to talk about certain things with you when you just go mind your business. So I think, particularly with the example he gave, that someone went to someone else's home and he noticed one or two things in that home, and then he came about talking about it. And yes, you might look at the advantage from a part to say, yes, mind your business. That is what happens. They've let you into their home. On the other hand, there are some other issues that child would have been able to identify in other people's home as well, that the child will want to talk about. But the moment you say mind your business, the child will just lock up. And those other things, he wouldn't even want to talk about it. So for me, I think they should be encouraged, because a kind of comparison should be made as well, because it gives you an opportunity to talk about your own family values, which might be different from other people's family values. Because if they don't go to other people's homes, they would not even appreciate what is in their home. So I'm a little bit skeptical when it comes to them just cutting them off by saying, mind your business. Probably I don't really understand what doctor was talking about.
Okay.
I would mind you throw more light.
All right. Ejiro, thank you. So, Prof, do you want to respond to that, just to clarify?
Okay. Well, I understand perfectly what you mean in terms of also allowing the children free speech. But we know that they are blabbermouths. And in future, you know, even in an office, nobody likes a blabbermouth. Somebody that something happens before you leave the office, the secretary already knows about it, the gateman knows about it, and nobody trusts such a person. And you have to make your child realize that, look, in future, these are things that you need to grow in yourself. Of course, there are things that you discuss. The children are with you all the time. So you know when a child becomes a blabbermouth, and you know people start poking their nose. Once, when I had to take my antihypertensives at night. So my daughter saw me in the kitchen taking my dog. So she came and asked me, Daddy, what's the problem? I said, I'm hypertensive. Then my little daughter that was then in primary school or GS went and told to the other siblings that Daddy had hepatitis. So my first daughter held her, said it, and gave her a hot slap, and they started fighting. So I had to come and break up the fight. So I told her, look, you don't be a blabbermouth. Daddy told you he's hypertensive, keep it to yourself. It's not something you go to school and tell people, Daddy is hypertensive. It's not like anybody is going to die, but you don't have to be a blabbermouth, you mind your business, okay? And the other things in life, when you give people your word, when you tell people, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it, integrity. These are things that help a teacher, even in business and working with people, okay? Don't be a blabbermouth, integrity, okay? And don't lie. Don't lie. Nobody likes a liar. Okay? Yeah. You can make mistakes, but don't lie.
Thank you, Prof. At least it's that clarifies things. So it's for them to teach them when to speak and when not to speak, what to say. And there are things you see, you don't have to say everything. Thank you. So Dr. Onya, please, just a minute. I've seen your hand up. I'll come to you. But I want to read from the chat. There's somebody here, Techno Mobile, that says parenting is joint venture between couple. Prof, what advice do you have when either of the couple is emotionally unavailable or toxic in worst cases? So since it's a joint task venture, but you could have one person that is emotionally unavailable, what advice do you have for this?
Well, I don't know. In summary, I can say make sure the partner attends a NAFAD course, a training, a talk like this. You see, a lot of parents have their own ideas of what parenting is all about, and they are unchanging. In short, their heart is completely stony. In running NAFAD courses, we've seen a father that said, "Look, I will not remove my plate after eating. I am an Igbo man." And in Igbo land, when he said, "Look, I have children and I have a wife. Why should I remove my plate?" As the wife was seated there beside him. At some point, the man got up, got so angry, and left that meeting. I'm telling you. So there are people that are so headstrong. Okay, they must learn that children learn more by what they see, not what you say. You can say a lot of things. You can say, "Don't do this, don't do that." Of course, we keep backing down others. But my dear, they learn 60% by what they see. Less than 10% is what they hear. And let me again say that marriage is not 50-50. I tell people in my marriage course, they say, marriage, you must bring 50, it's 50-50. We must all it's a big lie. Marriage is 80-20, or in some cases, 90-10. At some point, your wife may be doing more. At some point, you may be doing more. Marriage can never be 50-50. At some point, somebody is giving more of themselves. And that is why marriage is sweet. Because at some point, you take over and you give more. At some point, your wife takes over and she gives more. So that's also another thing. So when the other is not available, you keep introducing the children to your husband. Look, he's your father. He loves you. He may not be available. By the time they are buying into that, they are also buying into you as their mother. Okay? Rather than trying to make them realize that this man is not available, blah, blah, blah. Maybe he's not even interested and things like that.
Yeah, thank you. So it's basically unity and mutual understanding. Okay. So Dr. Onya, you have the mic now. You can unmute and ask your question. Then I'll come to, my device needs communication. Okay. So Dr. Onya, can you unmute yourself now? Okay, Charles, could you help? She says she can't unmute. Okay, while we're...
You can speak.
Okay, good evening.
Excellent.
Good evening,
Good evening
to these organizers. Good evening, Professor Madu. It's such a pleasure this is my first time attending this, and it's such an enlightening thing. Now, Prof, what I want to talk about is close to what the last person talked about. Sometimes it's not as easy as they say it, though. It's actually a huge problem. So my question is very close to what she asked. So for example, you know that no matter what a mother does, a child needs both parents, especially the dad, especially for male children, for example. And in a situation where the father is not available, and seriously not available, not like he's going to get available tomorrow and then go off today and come back tomorrow, or he's not an example of a godly, I don't know how to put this, like not a good role model for the children, especially the boys. What would the other parents do? As in, like, any practical things to do? As in, like, what will the mother or the other parent do to, to balance up? Because I know that no matter what a mother does, she can never really compensate for that of a father and all that. Thank you.
Okay, let me just say something. The first basic statement is that children see everything around them. You realize that, have you thought of the fact that when one of the siblings has an abnormality or is incapacitated, the children in that family become more loving, and they rally around at that their sibling. You see, you can see a child that has Down syndrome. All the other siblings understand him or her better than the rest of the world. Children adapt beautifully well. And once they observe their surroundings, you see, they try to make themselves less more of something and more of something. What do I mean? I'll give you a story. I have a relation, okay, or I know someone who, by the time the children were in primary school to secondary school, his wife had to travel overseas. And she lived overseas till the children all finished university. And they are all married with their husbands and their wives now. And none of them ever misbehaved. So I keep asking myself, this guy is not he's not a churchy person. He goes to church on Sunday, yeah? How did he achieve this without a wife, alone? Taking teenagers, adolescents through adulthood, marriage, but none of them ever lost their way. All his children, perfectly well, gentlemen, beautiful ladies, well respected by their husbands and everybody, and they are very, very respected. I realized that this man has just been around. Nothing else. He wasn't a very rich man, but he was there all the time. He was there. Anytime you go to his house, he's in his house with his children. So just be around the children. I can tell you they will turn out well. Even when they misbehave, they know where the deficiencies are and they will make up for it. Okay? Maybe a personal story. My father had stroke when I was getting into first year in university, and he couldn't move around. So we had to bat him together with my mom, bring him out, shave him, bat him, and take him back. And he was like that till we finished his service. And he changed us a lot. Because whenever we had extra time, we had to go home. We don't say school during holidays, we go home because I realized my mom is trying to handle this man alone. So when I come, she will rest. If I never had that experience, I will never have, maybe that part of me would never have come out. But this is something all of us siblings, all my brothers and sisters, whenever we have spare time, we start going home. Okay? We go to help my mom, to help him, help her with everything, bring my dad out, shave him, brush his teeth, beg him to take his drugs, because old people are taking drugs. And it helps to also train the children. So they know when there's a problem and they all try to gather around that event.
Yeah, so basically, I think it's also the idea of not deceiving the children and pretending as if everything we're perfect. So the children know that we are also struggling. Okay, thank you very much. My device needs communication, so you can unmute and ask your question. Then Ogechi will be next after. Let's be sure that this person, Charles, could you help to be sure that he or she can unmute? Then Ogechi. Yeah, we'll correct that now. Could you try again?
Good evening, Professor
Okay,
Madu.
Ogechi,
Yes?
could you just hold on? Let my device speak first, then you will go second. Thank you. Okay, my device.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear. We can hear you. Go ahead. You are muted again. Okay, while we're waiting to unmute, I see there's a comment here that says you could also get a trusted male, uncle, family friend to mentor the young man. Okay, though that's in cases of absent fathers. Yeah, that's a good one. That has worked for people also. Okay, my device, could you try again to see if you can unmute? Could you try again?
I think Ogechi.
Oh, good. Yeah, yes, we can hear you now.
Okay, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I'm so happy joining this program. My sister alerted me, and although I joined late, I've also learned beautiful things tonight that I'm going to implement. I have a challenge which I don't know how to handle as a young parent. My children, I have this issue of when they are home, they are super active, they can be outspoken, but when they go outside, they become eyes immediately. They won't have that, they won't speak out, they'll be shy, I don't know. I've spoken several times. I've maybe like implemented them coming out, maybe when we're alone. I'll ask them to say something for me to hear. But whenever we go outside, they won't be able to express themselves very well. And that's a lot. It worries me. I don't know if there is any other approach to it, or trusting something I'm not doing well. Did you get that?
Yes.
Well, I think the first question is you need to tell the ages of the children so that we can have a better idea,
Oh,
and
okay. Between the age range of 3 to 7 years. The eldest 7, the lower, the younger,
Youngest.
Yeah, well, the only thing I can say is if your parenting style is not too authoritarian, in which case you don't allow them, maybe at 3 years, well, but at 7 years, you should be able to have some discussions and things like that, okay? And also, you can also allow them to play roles in the family, maybe act a play, okay? Or do some presentations in the house where everybody, the home is always a one place where mistakes are allowed. So you can also allow them to act roles in the house, presentations, music, dance drama, dancing competition and things. And you also dance with them. And you can also try to ask questions and find out why don't you want to do the Christmas carol in your class, or why don't you want to do this? Then maybe there's an environment in the school or something that is happening, or some friends that don't just allow them to show who they are and things like that. So maybe you can find out. But all in all, I think you should give them more opportunity to also act. Not every child is built in that mood. Some people, especially boys, some boys in the midst of girls, maybe if they don't have boys that don't have sisters, many of them are quite shy outside. So But it's not a big deal. They will overgrow it with time.
Okay. Okay, thanks
All
a
right.
lot.
Okay, thank you. So Oge Chuku, please unmute, then I'll go to the chat.
Good evening, Professor Madu, for the mind-blowing lecture. I would like to say two things. One is concerning when you said minding your business, and another one is favoritism. The issue of minding your business, I know that some parents are of the, they encourage their children to gossip, or rather, they gossip in front of their children. Or maybe they discuss people. This person did this, this person did this. And these children are learning. So when they go out, they go to another person's house, they're bringing gossip for you. So if the parents should know that, even when the child, okay, this person, they went to their house, they scattered their clothes and all that, you say, okay, what about you? If it's you, do you do this one? Do you this? Don't discuss them. People are different. Do you understand? So positively, we should positively advise them and not shunning them. Like the other person said, you're not supposed to shun them. If you shun them, they won't tell you more. But when you see the negative aspect of it, I believe we should, handle it very well so that these children don't go looking for gossip, coming back with gossip, and you yourself, even the parents are gossiping with people and they take it outside. They come to school, my daddy said, my mommy said, because they don't know the implication and all that. Then another thing is concerning this favoritism. I believe that if parents look at good character in their children, it will make us not to have a favorite child. You tell them, if you're behaving well, you're my favorite. If you're not behaving well, you're not my favorite. So that they know that you're looking at the good aspect of them. Bring out your best. That is what I want. And not, I don't know whether you understand what I mean. Because when we are looking at their character, the good things they do, and their, maybe school performance, the way they help in house chores and all that, it will make us not to really have a favorite child. Because whoever that is doing well is the best for the moment. For the moment, so that they know that you don't have an immunity to being the favorite.
Yes, that's a good one. That's a good one.
You.
Thank you very much, Tochukwu. Ogechukwu. Thank you very much for that comment. So, Tochukwu, I see your hand up. I'll come to you. Prof, do you want to respond? Is there, you want to say something?
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I think I agree. But some of us have favorites by the virtue of the fact that maybe this guy or my daughter looks very much like my mother, or my son looks like my son, okay, or my father, and things like that. So those are some of the things that make us to have favorites. And being a human being, I don't think it's easy to avoid having favorites. Okay, it's not easy to avoid. The only thing I think is that make sure that you don't make it obvious, because I'm sure all of us, if they ask you which of your son or which of your daughter you love best, some of the women like their first sons best, and there's nothing you can do about it. And I'm just saying you try to keep it down. Another thing we should try to make the children realize is, you see a young man in 17, 18 years old, for some time in Nigeria, it has been hot. And so whining. Don't allow your children to whine. The weather is hot. Oh, mommy, the weather is so hot. Oh, mommy, the weather is so hot. Oh, mom. Yes, it's hot. Yeah, if you can't do anything about it, my brother, keep quiet. That is life. Life can be difficult. Accept things you can't change. That is life. You also teach them. My brother, there's no money. Yes, you have to find a way to figure things out and move on. Okay? It's either teach your children that when you see a problem, when you meet a problem or you encounter a problem, solve it. If you can't solve it, don't whine, because nobody whines like somebody that whines around them. You can imagine your husband or your wife always whining, whether it's so hot. What do you want me to do about it? Okay? And things like that. So again, I think another thing you can do is to, within your area, you can gather parents, okay, good parents, and once in a while meet to discuss how you handle problems. Because I saw someone was asking in the chat box that George wanted to know. Georgie, my friend, he wants to know, how do you handle disobedience in teenage boys? Okay? In teenagers, specifically, this Of course, all of us are going to have questions and challenges and questions as parents. It is normal as a parent to have challenges with your children. So don't think you're encountering anything that is out of this world. All of us have challenges. Okay? Once in a while, you can meet with some parents, as somebody said, once there's beer and there's meat, the men will come. Okay? To discuss how do you handle pocket money for your daughters in university, handle your issue of your daughter in JS3 that is not allowing anybody to rest. How do you handle insomnia in your toddler? How do you handle you share ideas and people also learn how to do these things. But for teenagers, you just have to keep talking. Okay? Sometimes it looks as if you're pouring water on a stone, but just keep it up. Okay? Parenting is not a one-touch thing.
Yeah.
It is continuous. You must continue every day you wake up. You keep dress your bed, wash your uniform, everybody enter the car. Have you brushed your teeth? Have you packed your lunch? But it is you do that every blessed day, but it's just for some time. Okay? Because in the next 5-10 years, most of us here will have that stage by the time they are in university, and you can start resting on holiday.
Thank you, Prof. Okay, so Tochukwu, I see your hand up. I'll come back to you. So let me go to the chat. And Nena has this. Nena says, good evening all. Thank you, sir, for this class. How can I discipline a strong-willed child without breaking his personality? He knows the rules, but prefers to push boundaries.
Okay, teenagers and adolescents will always push boundaries. They will always want to test your will. They always want to know. And if it's the boys, they always want to begin to chance their mother. You know what is chancing? Because he's taller and he feels that he's now growing some beard and his voice is turning off. He wants to see whether he can actually. So at some point, you must put your feet down and tell them, look, this woman is here and none of you should ever try to push her around. If you do that, you have me to deal with, and you will not like what I'm going to do. You must have that discussion at some point with your children. Make them know the boundaries, and you look into their eyes, and they see that daddy is dead serious, and there is going to be a problem if this thing happens again, and they will begin to respect themselves. Once in a while, you may need to take them out, or take them somewhere one-on-one. Sit down, a bottle of Coke, okay, and discuss what's the problem. Sometimes teenagers don't even understand themselves. I don't know. Sometimes they don't even know why they behave the way they behave. Okay, so you have to keep talking and give it time. And again, take it to your prayers.
Thank you, Prof. Okay, so Tochukwu, you can unmute your mic and ask or make your comments. You have the mic now.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Prof, for that insightful presentation. And thank you to the organizers. Yeah, I have two questions. One, I've been taking care of. I just wanted to reemphasize what Nena asked in the chat box, in case you missed it, because I was actually interested in that when you have a child that is strong-willed and always want to push you beyond boundaries. And it's even so annoying that even when you're trying to show that, you know what, I am not happy with you, I'm angry with you, and the child comes back smiling and acting like it's nothing. I mean, you're now wondering, are you meant to remain mean? Or are you meant to put that face to let her know that, you know what, I'm not going to take this next time, So, I mean, you're just caught up in that web of, are you meant to relax now, or are you meant to just carry that face and let her know that, no, you can't carry on with this? Then as well, I want to actually come back to the question that was answered before this last one. When someone asked that your children, they come home, they are good, they are sound. I mean, they talk, they play, they do all that. But once they step out of the house, there's this shrink. It's like they shrink, like they're shy. I don't even know what to call it. Are you afraid or something? Can't you just speak up? Can't you just say this? I mean, but they can do it, but they're just afraid to do it. So at times I'm just like, at what point are you supposed to push these guys out of here? Because, okay, let's say the other person was saying her baby, they are 7, they are 4, and we're like, they are still babies. No, okay, but in my own case, when I have guys that is 14, 11, 12, So, and you know that this guy knows what he's doing. He's good. He's okay. Even the girl, they shout in the house. They bully their brothers and their sister. But once they step out there, they're just like, and I'm wondering, I mean, at what point are you going to just, and how are you going to deal with this?
Okay, so Chuku, thank you. How do we solve this, Prof? Over to you.
Okay. Well, your first question was on the second question was so interesting. I lost track of the first question. I think you were talking about
No, I think she was just reiterating because that question has already been handled. So I think we should just concentrate on the India Wolomilio or what now.
Okay.
I like
Let
that.
me start by saying that you know, confidence in a child is most likely brought on by the parents. Do you and your husband express confidence in those children? Okay? Do you give them rules? If a 17-year-old is still shy, does he follow his father to the mechanic workshop? The children learn how to engage with the outside world from their father. Do you go with them for weddings? They see how you relate to your gate man in your office. They see how you relate to the mechanic. They see how you discuss with your friends in a party. That is when your children learn social interaction. They learn it from you, okay? So you need to expose them a bit more. And as I said, a sheep is perfectly safe in the harbor, but a sheep is not meant to stay in the harbor. They must move out, okay? Maybe close family friends. Yeah, some people are introverted, but you can't have 5 children and the 5 of them are introverted. Again, what is your parenting style? Is it authoritarian? Okay? Because if it's authoritarian, the child tends to be quiet when they move out. My children, well, I don't like using myself as an example. My children are said to be more talkative than every other child. You can't push them out. Even the most quiet of them, you can never push her around in any peer group. Okay? And that's because in the house, we give them all the support they need. In my house, there's free speech. No matter how old you are, you share everything equally, no matter the age difference. Even if the eldest and the youngest is in the house, we share their chores equally, we share their food equally, and they know, yes, they are not equals, they are not age mates, but they know that you can't push them around just because you're older than he or she. So I think, again, the father needs to be more involved, okay? Take them out, watch them interact. Again, you can also discuss with them. Find out why. Are you not comfortable? You don't like the person or things like that. But at 17, unless the child is introverted, yes, some people don't actually like social mixing up and things, but not all the children, okay? I think you should engage them, take them out when you're going out, okay? And allow them a free roll when you go out. It's not when you go for wedding or when they go to the church, they must sit beside you. As you're 17, you can sit on another pew, okay? Give you your money for offering, give you your bulletin, you can sit on another pew. If you go for service, you can sit somewhere else. You mustn't sit with me. After all, when you're in the university, do I follow you to church?
All right, Prof. Thank you very much. So I'm looking at the time now. This is 9:30. Well, I think we're about to call it an evening, but I don't want to miss this. There's Obi says, Prof, nice to see your face again. For more than 10 years, you taught me in medical school in UNTH. So I'm a teacher also. I don't want to miss this at all. It's lovely when you have your students seeing you after many years and reconnecting with you. He says, to be honest, I joined this program late from Canada. Can I get the video? Yes, certainly you can get the video. Just go to the website and link up. There are other videos there also. I think we started Parents First sometime in August, and we've been on since then. So there are quite a number of videos that you can get from there. The YouTube channel. Okay, thank you. All right. So George Ugu says, how best do we handle disobedience in teenage boys, even when boundaries and timelines, when boundaries are set and timelines given? So, Prof. Madu, I'm going to time you. You are going to just answer some of these questions in seconds so that we can go.
I've already attended, but I think there are just some 2 last questions. The recording is available on YouTube. Somebody said, my boys are 22 and 20, but hardly go out or entertain any friends. Is it a problem? There's something you can do. If you buy a table tennis board with the balls, or build a small badminton court in your house, the boys will come. Especially when they know you have juice and you have snacks, and your wife makes snacks for the boys. They will turn your house into a senior high school. There, your boys can engage and you can observe. Your wife can observe and you can see what is going on. Okay, so when you make your house available and open your doors, but make sure either you or your wife is always around to provide guidance for the boys. And you can observe and you can see them mixing up, okay? Again, know that the boys love sports. The boys don't like dancing and singing. So they like sports a lot, things that will make them showcase their strength, okay? How can I help a child who complains a lot and have low emotional management? Don't allow tantrums at all. Don't allow your child to throw tantrums. Again, if you can't change something, teach your child. If you can't change something, live with it. Okay? Don't start whining. Okay? Just like the young man that entered the university and had to go out to call the mother to. If your child does that kind of thing, tell the young man or the young woman to, my friend, go and sort yourself out. After all, your mates that don't have parents, that their parents are dead. Sometimes I tell my children, don't you have classmates that their parents are dead? How do they manage? My dear, you try to solve your problem. So that is about life. Yes, the ones their parents can come in, they can come in. But many of your age mates are house helps in people's houses, and they are not all dead. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Prof. Thank you very much. So, ladies and gentlemen, dear parents, thank you so much for participating in this actively. It's been awesome. It's been good. We hope to see you again next month. We do this every month, the last Saturday of the month. And then you have the YouTube channel also. You can always go there and you get more information. I think, as always, we should keep this conversation going, because as parents, we need a lot of help and we can't do it alone. Remembering what Professor told us, he said, for parenting can be overwhelming, but you are not alone. So let's link up with other parents that share our values, learn from them, and also share our own experience with them. So we know also that being parents can be tough, but just remember that in your child's eyes, nobody does it better than you. So as far as our children are concerned, we are heroes. Nobody is going to replace us. So let's do what we can, leave the rest in the hands of God, and keep supporting our children. So ladies and gentlemen, we'll call it an evening. Thank you very much. Prof, we are grateful to you. I see you have another student on the call. Kene is here. He's saying hi. So well done. All right. So good night, everyone. And do take care of yourselves. Thank you, Prof. Bye-bye.